They're looking for a leader, right? Could it be Hunter Biden? Listen to this. Remember, he was on this podcast. It was a 3-hour podcast. It's called Channel 5 with Andrew Callaghan. And he was talking about making cocaine. Watch.
Jesus.
The only difference between crack cocaine and cocaine is sodium bicarbonate and water and heat, literally.
That's it?
That's it.
And those things are pretty much free if you go to like a science store.
This is free. You can go to your neighborhood convenience store and just get. Anyway, I don't want to tell people how to make crack cocaine, but it literally is a mayonnaise jar, cocaine, and baking soda. Crack cocaine, in terms of your physical health, is not as dangerous as the situation that you put yourself in to be able to obtain it. The favor that they did for me is I don't have any more secrets.
True.
This is terrible.
Oh, so it is your laptop. Okay. Did he just say it's his laptop? Good. All right. A couple of things.
Oh,
do you realize that I am astounded that the production value of his podcast, they put up the recipe for crack.
Right.
Like, by the way, if you're making crack at home and you're a little confused, he talked a little quick.
And some rap videos of them making crack cocaine on the stove. And he's like, I don't want to tell you how to make crack cocaine, but it's just mayonnaise in a jar and cocaine and baking soda.
But they almost glamorize it. Like crack
destroys
lives. It destroyed his life.
You know, you should put it on your cereal.
So Joe Rogan had comments about this. Listen.
Have you seen Hunter Biden describing why crack is so good? It's the greatest crack advertisement of all time.
No.
If crack wasn't terrible for you, this guy makes me want to try crack. I'm not going to. Don't do it. I'm not giving any advice, but I'm saying this guy, like, legitimately, this might be the best advertisement for crack of all time. He's a lot smarter than people give him credit for, I'll tell you that. Like, he's talking, and one of the things he was talking about was why smoking things are so addictive, why smoking cigarettes are so addictive, and, like, the psychology behind it. He's not dumb. That's the best ad for Coke ever.
It's the best.
Best ad for crack ever.
Yeah.
And he could be president.
God. You know what really annoys me? I know we like make a joke about it, but his dad was responsible for the crime bill, which people that were addicted to crack cocaine, a lot of them went to prison for a lot of them are still in prison as a result of that. But Hunter never had to face those type of consequences. And so he can talk about it in that way. He wrecked lives as a result of this. He wrecked his own life, but he never got any consequences. That's why he can go on a podcast and talk about it that way.
And he just eviscerated all his dad's former allies. He made them officially enemies and then labeled his dad as a drug abuser using Ambien.
Right.
Really? Without a prescription.
And then he walked it back.
Yeah.
And said he didn't know.
Well, I don't think it's a good ad for crack cocaine. I don't want to try crack cocaine because I don't want my life to go in the direction that his life has gone in.
Right. But it does make it, that's the best I've ever heard crack described.
Right.
I mean, it's like, it's pure, it's clean.
Yeah.
You know?
It's okay. It's not that much.
Right.
This is the former president of the United States' son talking about how to make crack cocaine.
Right. I wonder if he segued into leaving his wife for his brother's widow. I don't know if that came up at all.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, yeah, and not raising his child as well. I mean, he's been coddled his entire life. And this is what happens. When you have someone that never experiences consequences, they can talk about things in
When
this
you
way.
read his wife's book, I'd heard it was good, and I ended up reading it, and I felt horrible for her. She went through so much pain for years because of his addiction, and didn't treat the family the way that a father should or that a husband should. And she found out about his affair, according to this book. It's her book. She found out about the affair with her sister-in-law because he said, I promised Beau I'd take care of his family. I'd move in with them, take care of the kids. And she's like, well, wait a minute. You've been living there for months and months and months. What about our kids? What about me? And then her children found out and had to tell her that he was having an affair.
Thank goodness we put that family in our rearview mirror, but I'm sure Joe Biden will write about it because he has a brand new book deal, $9 million. I'm sure he's not going to touch the purity of crack.
Right.
The upsides and downsides of crack use, according to my son.
It's unbelievable.
Maybe he'll be a guest writer.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.